Welcome everyone to this special episode of the Connectedness podcast. There are some people when they walk into a room and without even trying, they make everyone feel like they belong there. You know the type, the friend who remembers everyone's name, who the one who somehow ends up organizing the group outing, the one who builds community the way the rest of us build grocery lists, naturally, consistently, and with a whole lot of heart. That's Geraldine.
Oh, thank you. And that's you, Fernanda, also. You're talking about yourself.
We met a few years ago at salsa. And from the
Yeah.
Yes, and from the beginning, I noticed the gentle superpower that she carries, the way she brings people together without forcing anything. She's Kenyan, she's a social worker, and she's one of the most intentional community builders I know. Today, we're talking about how she does it, what community means to her, and what she sees happening behind the scenes when people feel connected. And of course, her secret sauce for making friends and creating a chosen family wherever she goes. So settle in, grab your coffee or your walking shoes or whatever keeps you company when you listen. I can't wait for you to meet her. So, Geraldine, let's talk
Yeah.
about our origin story, yours and mine. And like, how do you remember how we met?
Yes. We met at the Infinity Ballroom when it existed.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that I was doing a salsa social after a long, 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 long time. And I came with two of my girlfriends, and we were lost when they were doing a rotation where you dance with a partner and then you rotate. And we were just kind of like thinking it was musical chairs. And Fernanda, you came and you so gently and kindly told us, hey, this is how you do it. And so that's the first time I met you.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's my first memory of you. And then I saw you at Amelie's like maybe a few weeks later, and I think you were doing one of your meetups. And I was like, hey, it's that lady Fernanda, but it's gonna be weird if I go up and say hi to her and say, hey, Fernanda. And she may look at me in a weird way, so I didn't say hi. And then we met again. Yes. Then we met again at another social,
Yes.
another dance social.
Yes. And the
And we
rest is
became
history.
friends. Yeah.
I just remember you and your who was it that was there with you? Was it your friend or your sister or the very first
The
salsa
very
thing?
first salsa.
Yeah.
Well, she's like my sister.
Okay.
My friend Joy was
Your
there. And
Yes,
then my other friend Rashida came and joined us
I
later on.
remember. I,
Yeah.
I remember going up to you and saying, "Ladies, you need
Yeah.
to join. You need to join the circle."
Yes.
But
And
it was
thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
Because we were wondering why people were looking at us all strange. Because no one was kind enough to just tell us directly, hey, well, not that they were not kind. I
Yeah.
think they just were kind of like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, or
Oops.
whatever. They weren't
Yes.
paying.
So, but you are so good about noticing these things and when someone needs a little assistance, and that was really a kind thing. So thank you.
I'm glad. And
Yeah.
we've known each other now. I don't know how many years ago that was, maybe 2, 3 years ago. And
Mhm.
we've danced a lot together. We've gone on dancing adventures together. You've had us over for wonderful parties at your house where
Excuse me.
I could really tell that you're bringing people together in a really special way.
Mhm.
And you kind of created a little girls group too
Yeah.
and it's wonderful that I'm very happy to be involved in this with you and and the friends that you've brought together and so can you tell us a little bit about you, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, like
Yeah.
your childhood or
Mhm.
your background from Kenya, like when when did you get here, like what have you always been this way or did you get better at this as you went along, like how
Mhm.
tell
So,
us a little bit, please.
yeah. Okay, I am this way without choice. I I have two parents who were very socially involved. So yeah, I was born in Kenya and the house, our household always had people.
Okay.
My aunts, my younger aunts who are close to my age, lived with us. You know, they were teenagers and we were like young um, kids, but they lived with us. And my whole family, they just are very, I guess, community centered because that's the African way. You know, you rely on your community. We grew up in this neighborhood where if you ran out of sugar, you just went across the street and knocked on the door and asked for help. If something happened, there was always like there were multiple people you could go to for help. And then, of course, you know, I don't know, it's just community was a big thing that was kind of drilled in us in our generation. I grew up in the 80s in Kenya, and the school that I went to, um, it was run by nuns, okay? And the headmistress would always say, "Keep Kenya clean." And she'd make us like pick or not make us, but suggest that we
Mhm.
pick trash and just be mindful of, you know, our surroundings and how they looked and just put care into that. So I think all of those things contributed. And then my parents, both of them, just would meet people when they were on their out and about and just like bring them home, you know, just so our house was they just bring them home. Like there was a time when I must have been about 6. I think this was in 1984, and um, you know, there was the whole like famine that was going on
Oh,
in Ethiopia, and a lot of people, and there was war also, and so a lot of people were seeking refuge in other countries, and so you know there was a guy there, and my dad met him, and he said, "I never ask for money or anything, but I'm so hungry, and I just want like a banana. Can you get me a banana?" And my dad brought him home, and he stayed with us for a few weeks because he was in the middle of asylum hearing before he went off to Sweden. But it was so cool. And he must have been like, I don't know, like no more than 16 years old. And we used to call him Uncle Daniel. And he was so funny. He would get bars of soap and put them under his shirt and like pretend he had like big biceps and so I just remember that about him. And then and there was another woman who was a Canadian and she was backpacking through East Africa and she came and my aunts met her and because they were in a market and I can't remember what they were doing, but they met this woman and she's an artist and so they brought her home and she stayed with us for a few months. So
that's so cool. And were
that's
you a
just kind of
kid? Like, were you a
yeah,
little kid at the time?
yeah, I was like 6
Oh,
or
okay.
7 and it was so cool. She was the coolest. She gave us new experience. She took us to the she was involved with the Kenya National Theater Group,
Yeah.
and she would take us to see things, and she would take us backstage with friends that she had because she was this bohemian person who had met like all these friends. So we would be in the back stage, and they would give us like scripts to sing along, and it was so fun. It was so fun. So we had these experiences, my siblings and I, that I think were unique because of all these different people that uh, my family would just connect with. So
It was almost like your parents had like an informal exchange student program where they would
yeah, yeah, yeah.
whether
Exchange anyone, exchange auntie, exchange student.
And so you guys were getting all that exposure and
Yes.
seeing the social side and
Hmm.
so then you came to the US and you have
Hmm.
your community here, you have your family and you
Hmm.
I can see like you host these sometimes you host game nights or parties and there's always somebody that you invite who is new.
Hmm.
There's some regulars. There's some people who are like literally your family who lives there and
Hmm.
how do you do it, Geraldine? How do you bring all these people
Yeah.
together? And like, how do you, what are some, if you can identify, what are some things you do that you think help people feel like included or feel like they can belong?
Okay. So I think it's been like a whole just change, okay? Like gradually over time. Because I think this is not something I would have done a few years ago. It's something I would do with my sister when we were roommates here, okay? Um, and we would have these little parties, and people would always be in our apartment, and or it would be just like an impromptu party. But you know what? A lot of Kenyans and a lot of Africans tend to do that. You're hanging around and it's a few people, and then it's kind of like, hey, let's call so and so. And then before you know it, there's like a big loud party. Okay. So that's kind of yeah. Um so I did that, I would say in my early 20s. But then, when I got older, I would still have people, but the people I know, they're all so different because they all appeal to different parts of me. And
Okay.
so a lot of times I know people who are very just, they seem very different on the surface, and so it's kind of like, well, how are you friends with this person? Because they seem so different from you, but I don't know, it's just, there's always something that connects people as a whole. And I don't know, we can tend to limit ourselves when we don't talk to people just a little longer,
Hmm.
and or cut them off really quickly because I don't know. I mean, I guess it's good to have boundaries, yes. And
Wait,
if you
what are those again, Geraldine? I don't
boundaries,
just kidding.
they are right.
I'm
Uh,
still learning.
like
We could do a whole other podcast about
on
boundaries.
boundaries, right? Okay. And I mean, and also we can have gates or doors and let people in a little bit, like obviously safe people who we perceive as safe, I'm saying, but
Yeah.
um and so I used to, I think, have little smaller things where um I would be thinking very carefully about, oh, I want so and so to be here, and will they get along with so and so? And that would get really exhausting.
Yeah.
And so, like, to think about that for myself.
Mm.
And then I just one day was like, you know what? Why? Like, just bring people together with joyous intent,
Yes.
and people will sense it and feel it, and they come with their higher self. I don't know. It
I love
always happens.
I'm so
They
glad you
all
brought that up. Yeah, because
Yeah,
it does. People come and have a great time,
they
right?
always show up with their higher self, I feel like, and they have a great time, and then they make new connections with people who they never would have talked to
Right.
before. And it's beautiful because then you hear someone say something like, "Oh my gosh, like I met your friend so and so, like we connected and we decided to do something." And
Yep,
it just makes me so happy because
me
it's just
too.
like pew pew, like offshoots, you
It's
know?
great. No, I
Yeah.
completely. So I'll be honest, like I have been known to try to curate the party a little bit. Like if I'm hosting a party, I'll be like, okay, I can't invite these people because they don't get along with these other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or
Yep.
like
Yep.
Or like if I invite this person, then I gotta invite these other people because they kind of come in a bundle
in a group,
in
like
a
a
group.
pod. Yeah.
I've been known to try to curate my parties, but then it gets stressful. You're right. It gets exhausting. And
Mhm.
I the things you're bringing up, like, I think we've talked a lot about how I'm trying to overcome like codependent behavior. And that is something I see in myself. Is like I'm trying to control the outcome. And I know
Mhm.
that I've learned that it's not
Mhm.
possible.
Mhm.
So like I think you're giving me permission to just forget about it. Just invite whoever I
Just
want and see
just
what
invite
happens.
who you want and see what happens. Because at the end of the day, everyone is responsible for them themselves.
Yeah.
And okay, and don't get me wrong, I think it's so mindful and so like there's even kindness in it when you're really thinking about who to invite and curating that, because that's a lot of care, right? Like I want to make sure that the space feels a certain way,
Mhm.
and that everyone is comfortable. So I'm thinking carefully about who I can invite and who I put with whom. At the same time, that can also be underestimating people and
That's
their own
true.
power to, I don't know, like be curious about this new person or, you know, clarify like, okay, when so and so said this, what did they mean?
Mm,
But and the thing is like, look, it can be very nerve-wracking
mm,
still. That can be like there's a lot of nerve, like, oh my God, like, oh, um, I invited someone and like they possibly are insulting someone
yeah.
like without any intention, without any real intention,
Right.
or
Right.
mhm.
But it's not your responsibility, right? Like, and it's not my.
At the same time, it's not like, and so I can sometimes get lost in thought in that, like, trying to, I'm trying to overcome overthinking also, and
Mm,
just let a thing be, because you know what? It just sometimes is,
it is, yeah.
yeah.
And like, so I went to some of the parties at your place and I met some wonderful people and
Mhm.
we had an amazing time, especially the game night that was hilarious. And like
Yes.
I got to see another side of some of our friends, which was
Yes.
like a wonderful side that I would have
Yeah.
never seen.
Yeah.
And everybody's just having a nice time. Everyone's just there to have a good time
Mhm.
and play around. And so I'm really grateful that you've included us. And I think, how is there something that you do specifically when you're meeting somebody new to kind of like determine whether you think they are like safe for you to bring into your community, or are you
Mhm.
more like
Mhm.
just like taking a leap of faith and seeing what happens?
I don't know. I don't even know if I think, like, I just feel. Okay. So
It's very intuitive. Oh,
yeah, I mean, and I'm not even thinking of it in terms of that, but you know what? It's true. It is, I guess, an intuitive thing. I know the people who I need, or the people who I kind of, I don't know. We all we all contribute to everyone around us. Then
yeah.
there's some people who need to contribute more to you, or vice versa.
Mm,
Somehow you just kind of get like clumped together.
mhm.
There's something that you know you need from a situation, or vice versa, and it just kind of comes together. So I don't know. I like there's no formula I have. I
Yeah.
just know sometimes I go somewhere and I'm minding my own business and people will talk to me, or I'll exchange a look with a stranger and it'll make some conversation happen.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be so magical and so cool. And so like then it's kind of like, and sometimes it just is like it's just that. Like the moment is beautiful and I never see this person ever, ever again. It's
Yeah.
gone. But
Yeah.
it's still meaningful, right? And then there's some people who I'll have the exchange with, and then I'll see them again, and then it's kind of like, oh, like you're you feel safe.
Yeah.
And so I will gravitate to you, you
Mm,
know.
mhm.
And then being yourself, being your full self is either going to attract people to you or it will block people from you. So it does its thing, you know, like
Yeah.
someone might be like, okay, maybe there's too much chaos here. I don't know if I can do this. Or maybe it could be like, oh wow, like I'm really getting a lot from here. So this feels nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like,
don't know if that even answered my question.
no, it kind of does because it's hard to discern these things at first,
Mhm,
and you don't know. Like I personally, I also go on instinct, and
mhm,
but I do also go on leap of faith, and then
mhm.
hope that people don't prove me wrong. That
Yeah.
if I think, oh, this person's really nice, I'd love to bring them into my circle of friends or get to
Mhm,
know them better. And
mhm,
I just it's kind of a leap of faith,
mhm,
maybe a little naive even. I guess depends on there's different kinds of people, right? Like I know people who are
mhm,
way better at um, having some kind of spidey senses about other
mhm.
people.
Yeah, there's some people who are more attuned to it. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I,
I don't know.
I don't even like to use the word better because then it puts some sense of value like that, you
Um,
know. There are some people who perceive that like more clearly,
mm,
and they're like, stay away, you know. And
yeah.
then there are people like us who are like, well, let's just,
See what happens. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's like invite them to a party and see what happens.
let's invite them to a party and see what happens. And now they know my address. Okay.
This is good though. I wouldn't want to be any other way.
Yeah.
But as far as your social work
Hmm.
career, like has your career in social work like shaped the way how you show up in friendships and groups?
Yes, 100%. And also the other way around, like how social work is the tool that I use to do me, like to be myself. Okay. Um, Meaning I actually resisted social work for the longest time because I misunderstood what it was.
Oh,
And when I finally understood, oh, like it can be all these things, and it doesn't mean you're taking a baby away from, a mom. Like actually that's not what it is.
right.
Um, then I was like, oh shit, I'm a social worker, I
Oh,
guess, because um yes, so I'm a social worker because of who I am, and my social work influences how I I friend people, I guess, you
got
know.
you. Got you.
Yeah, so a lot of it is informed by what I saw growing up, like the influence that my parents have, that also their parents had on them because
Mhm.
they grew up with that community-based way of life. Um, and I don't know, it was a no-brainer that this is just what you do. You make community because communities um, mean trust and it means safety also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So, mhm,
can I ask, because so this is beautiful, by the way, like, and I've noticed that yeah, and I don't even know everyone in your inner circle or closer
mhm.
circle. I only know the ones that I get to see at salsa and whatnot, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I've noticed that you developed almost like a sisterhood with
Mhm,
some of the ladies that we become friends at
mhm.
salsa. And,
Yes.
I love the term chosen family, right? Because a lot
Mhm,
of people don't have a privilege of having come from a good, nurturing family of origin, but it's okay because we can still create chosen family with our friends. Um,
mhm,
like, what does chosen family mean to you?
mhm.
And what do you think makes a group of friends feel like a family instead of just like people that you hang out with?
With, you know, okay, so there are just some people who I don't know. It's like magic is all I can, that's the most accurate word I can think of. For some reason, you just kind of gel and come together because at this point in life, it's like, oh, I needed this person and they needed me and it just worked out. And and so I don't know, you're when you're choosing your family, it's intentional, because no one, it's not like um and my own family, like my siblings, right? I'm so glad that they're my siblings because they're also my friends.
Oh,
That's not always the case for a lot of people. A
right.
lot of people can be related to someone biologically and still not feel a closeness. And I think it can feel like a little fracturing because they look like you and yet they don't think or feel like you,
Yeah.
or they don't feel like they belong with you. Okay, not belonging to, but belonging with you,
Yes.
right? Whereas you could have like I, and you can see this, right? Because the you're one of those chosen family people
Yeah.
in my little pod. But we're all so different, Fernanda,
Yeah.
right? It's like how, it's one of these things where a stranger would wonder, how do these people even go together?
Yeah.
How do they how do they fit? How do they go together? It's how someone makes you feel, you
Yes.
know? It's
Yes.
just that the feeling of joy and non-judgment and like just being able to really be yourself
Right.
without hiding,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
and and like to your point, like a stranger might look out at a group of friends who are all totally different, different ages, different
Hmm.
backgrounds, different socioeconomic backgrounds, different
Hmm.
everything. And yet we get along great and we hang out, we have a nice time, we have a laugh, but
Hmm.
also like we try to support each other if we're going through a rough time, right? Like
Hmm.
because not life isn't all puppies and rainbows, right?
No, no. Hmm.
Um, and I think it's got to do with what's on the inside. Like it,
Hmm.
and this may be like a obvious statement, but because the world can be so superficial sometimes, but if you really like peel the layers of the onion
Hmm.
and you get to the core of who a person is,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter what their background is or where they grew up or if they have anything like that in common with you, because the
Hmm.
core is what they have in common is like
Hmm.
love and integrity. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yep, love and integrity. That's so true. And you recognize it when someone really they love you for
Yeah.
real. Like and because they just accept you as you are. And I don't know, you know what, dancing I think really can disarm a lot of people.
Yeah.
It can. I mean, it really can, especially when you're dancing, not for the performance of it, but when you're dancing with your soul, which means you're actually enjoying how it feels in your body and the experience that you have with this person next to you,
Mhm.
or like you're co-regulating, you're
That's
matching each other, you're laughing,
yeah.
okay, because you don't care if you did a step like perfectly or not.
Right.
um it's like, yeah, I still can't do a double turn or whatever, but I'm gonna pretend like I do, okay, and don't you correct me, just
No,
laugh with me, okay.
that's
And
true. And we
yeah.
know that not everybody in the dance community subscribe to this, but
No.
we do, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and that's all. That's the place I go to play, actually. So I was one of those kids who loved to play, and I played for the longest time. I think I would play when it was not socially acceptable to play because it's like, you're 15.
Yeah,
You shouldn't want to like play with a dollhouse. And I'd be like, yeah, I really want to. I really want to. Like, if I could, I would, you know.
but you
But
know, like now we're in our
mhm,
40s and it's like we should be playing. We should try to find
mhm.
every opportunity to play because life is short, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah, like we're just like, ooh, like that's a nice party idea. Everyone bring their own Barbie and let's stage what happened this week. Okay, so
Ooh, let's do this.
ooh, let's do it.
Come up
Yeah,
with some great
but
party ideas. Yes.
mhm,
So
yeah.
and I know we're getting close to the end here in the next
Mhm,
5 minutes or so, but I wanted to say like with if someone is listening to this who is maybe not as leap of faithy as we are
mhm,
when it comes
mhm,
um,
mhm,
but they want deeper friendships. Like,
mhm.
what do you think is one small step that they could take today towards having deeper friendships?
Yeah. One, you're not the only one seeking a deeper friendship. There's bound to be someone else who's seeking something deeper.
Mhm.
Ask something meaningful and see what the response is going to be. So we tend to ask these questions that are very, like automatic, like,
Mhm.
hey, how was your day? What do you do for work? Blah, 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 blah. Like,
Mhm.
ask, and this is like, I know, like the therapist in me kind of questions, but ask questions that are maybe even quirky or that can break the ice a little bit. And it could be something like, hey, like, did something make you laugh so hard that you almost peed this week?
I love this one. I'm writing that one down.
Right. Or, you know, um, hey, your outfit is so cool. What's your process? Like,
Ooh,
how do you, like things that are just off. It could be anything. And something like that could really disarm someone because one, I don't think people intentionally like set out to be like, oh my gosh, why are you talking to me?
yeah.
Like that, you know? But if you I think it could signal that you're actually looking for a real connection with someone. If that person doesn't want to connect, they probably just will find a way to exit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lose faith.
Mm-hmm.
Just see it as, hey, that might be maybe a form of protection. Maybe I wasn't meant to connect with that person at this time for whatever reason. Let's move on to the next,
Next person. Yeah.
next person. Yeah, I know it takes a lot of courage, but here's the thing. What is the worst that could happen?
Right.
What's the worst? What's the worst?
It's that they you walk out of there without having the connection.
Yes.
Really not that bad of an outcome.
It's not because did you even have a connection when you came in
Yeah. Right.
to
It's like you're
begin with?
just status quo kind of thing.
It's just status quo. You're not losing anything, but if you put meaning into it,
Mm.
like then it will feel like you've lost something. It'll feel like, oh, see, here's proof no one, wants to talk to me. But it could be that it's just, or even just confessing that you feel weird. That
Mm.
one actually works when you say, oh my gosh, like I'm new here and I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
Um, uh just like how do you know people here,
Right. That actually happened yesterday. I was at a networking event and this woman came and said, "I'm nervous. I'm
Mm.
new here." And
Hmm.
you know what? We welcomed her. By the end of the conversation, she was feeling more at home. She was feeling so it works. It definitely
Yes.
works. Well,
And
Geraldine,
yes,
yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off.
thank you. No, I know you have to go.
And you don't, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but I just wanted to close the episode a little bit. Geraldine reminds us that community isn't something we stumble into, it's something we build moment by moment through tiny acts of courage and intentionality. Honestly, talking with her makes the whole thing feel a lot less intimidating. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room or even the organizer of the century. You just need to notice people, care a little deeper, show up a little more consistently. If today sparked something in you, desire to form deeper friendships or create a space for others, simply reached out to someone you've been thinking about, follow that nudge. That's where connection starts. Thank you so much for listening. And Geraldine, thank you so much for
Thank
being who
you.
you are. We love
Thank
you.
you, Fernanda. I love you too, and all the
Oh,
people
and the
in our little
world,
community.
yes, the world needs more Geraldine magic. So if I could put it,
And Fernanda Magic.
thank you. Yeah, until next time, keep filling your cup and don't be afraid to invite others to the table with you.